It was a cold, moonless night in the small town of Ravenswood. The clock struck 12, and the town was silent, except for the occasional howl of the wind. The streets were empty, and the only light came from the flickering lampposts. But in the grand old mansion on the hill, something strange was about to happen. The Ravenswood mansion had been empty for years, ever since the death of its owner, Mr. Edward Ravenswood, a wealthy businessman. The townsfolk believed the house was haunted, and no one dared to go near it. But that night, a light appeared in one of the upstairs windows. It was faint, but it was there. The next morning, the town was buzzing with news. The old mansion had been broken into, and a valuable painting, The Midnight Lady, had been stolen. The painting was said to be cursed, and whoever owned it would meet a terrible fate. The local police were clueless. There were no footprints, no fingerprints, and no signs of forced entry. It was as if the thief had vanished into thin air. The case was handed over to Detective Clara Hayes, a young but brilliant investigator known for her sharp mind and attention to detail. Clara arrived in Ravenswood that afternoon and went straight to the mansion. She walked through the dusty halls, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. She examined the room where the painting had been hung. The frame was still there, but the canvas was gone. Clara noticed something strange. The dust on the floor had been disturbed, but not by footsteps. It looked as if something had been dragged across the floor. She followed the trail to a hidden door behind a bookshelf. The door led to a secret passage that went down to the basement. In the basement, Clara found a small room with a table and a single chair. On the table was a note. It read, "The Midnight Lady is not what she seems. Seek the truth in the clock." Clara was puzzled. What did the note mean? She looked around the room and noticed an old grandfather clock in the corner. She opened the clock and found a hidden compartment. Inside was a key. Clara took the key and went back to the main hall. She remembered seeing a locked drawer in the desk of Mr. Ravenswood's study. She used the key to open the drawer and found a journal. The journal belonged to Mr. Ravenswood and contained entries about the painting. According to the journal, the Midnight Lady was not just a painting, it was a map to a hidden treasure. Clara realized that the thief must have known about the treasure and stolen the painting to find it. But who could it be? She decided to visit the local library to research the history of the painting. There, she met an old librarian named Mr. Thompson, who had lived in Ravenswood his whole life. Mr. Thompson told Clara that the painting had been brought to Ravenswood by Mr. Ravenswood's grandfather, who was a famous explorer. The painting was said to lead to a treasure hidden somewhere in the town, but no one had ever been able to decipher the clues. Clara spent the next few days studying the journal and the history of the painting. She discovered that the clock in the mansion was a replica of a clock in the town square. She went to the town square and examined the clock. She noticed that the numbers on the clock face were slightly off. Using the journal as a guide, she adjusted the numbers to match a specific date mentioned in the journal. As she turned the last number, she heard a click. The base of the clock opened, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside was a small box. Clara opened the box and found a piece of parchment with a riddle written on it. The riddle led her to the old church on the edge of town. At the church, Clara found a hidden room behind the altar. In the room was the stolen painting, The Midnight Lady, and a chest filled with gold and jewels. But there was also a note from the thief. It read, "The treasure is yours, but the curse is real. Beware the Midnight Lady." Clara returned the painting and the treasure to the town, but the identity of the thief remained a mystery. Some say the thief was a ghost. Others believe it was someone who knew the secret of the painting. But Clara knew one thing for sure. The mystery of the Midnight Lady would haunt Ravenswood for years to come. And so, the town of Ravenswood returned to its quiet ways. But the legend of the Midnight Lady lived on, a reminder that some mysteries are never truly solved.